Trump had another insane press conference today, and we will get into all of that. But first, as you see on the screen, we have our very first guest, Miss JoJo from Jerz, Joanne Carducci, and we would like to welcome you onto the Politoxic Podcast. Hi.
Hi, Joe. Joe, you are the OG queen of the resistance. We all hail.
My
We
God.
hail to you.
Yes, please bow to me. Yes.
We bow to the great Joe. But no,
God,
seriously, like,
it just
I
means
remember
I'm
when I
old.
came onto the scene like a decade ago, and you inspired me. I was like, she's from Jersey like me. Okay, all right. If she's doing it, I'm gonna jump in. And now look at us.
Now
look at us.
Now look at
Look
us.
at us.
We're sisters from different misters. We are genuine and true friends in this crazy world. You guys inspire me every day too, and it means a lot to me. It also just means that I'm fucking older than dirt, but it means a lot to me that like I may have, inspired one other person, two other people out there in the world to use their voices, and you both use your voices so powerfully and so effectively. Like I'm just honored to be here and to be able to call you friends and to be able to also call you colleagues now. That's very exciting for me.
It's so exciting. And speaking of which, when did you have, we've all had those moments when we were in this space testing out our voices, our tweets, what works, what didn't work. When did you have a particular moment where you're like, aha, I found my political voice. It's resonating. Did you have a moment, or did it just kind of creep up on you?
I don't know that I had a moment where I was like, oh, look, it's resonating. I mean, I had a couple of weirdly super viral tweets altogether. They're mostly mocking Donald Trump. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. But I will say that there was one moment that kind of like for me set it all apart from everything else. And I long talk about, and I will always talk about how it just takes somebody out there who's kind of bigger than you, giving you a second to like shining their spotlight on you. And George Conway, who the trolls, by the way, think is my boyfriend, which is hysterical.
Yes.
Yeah, they really think that we're together. He's one of my better friends in the world. George always enjoyed my tweets, and I thought that was kind of funny because I was like, well, random alignment here in the universe between myself and someone I never would have known. But there was this one day, and growing up in Jersey, and I lived in New York City. My ex-husband worked at Windows on the World. I lived downtown, so I lived on Bleecker Street right before 9/11. We moved out in January of 2001. We just moved out. He just quit that job. My roommate actually worked there at the time. So 9/11 hit hard, right? Like, we all knew so many people.
I was in the city.
Yeah.
I knew people in the towers that day.
My God, I'm so sorry. Yeah. So Donald Trump, who had already been triggering the shit out of me, and I don't remember what year this was, but I'm going to go with probably like 18 or 19. He gave a speech where he rambled on and on and on. And he said, the first time I'd ever heard him say this, that he removed rubble from Ground Zero, that he was one of the first people down there in the rubble, removing, the dirt and debris and the rocks. And that's just flatly false, right? It's bullshit. It's a lie. And all the lies he's ever told, that one, I was like, it set me on fire. I was filled with rage and annoyance and anger and frustration, and I was sick and tired of this piece of shit lying and hijacking the truth. But about 9/11, when what he actually did, we all know, was he went on the news on his phone. He's bragging about his building being now the tallest in downtown New York. That's what he was talking about.
That's what he said.
Yep,
I remember that.
So I was like sitting on my couch. I'll never forget. We used to call it the blue couch. It's no longer a couch in our house because my cat decided to make it the pea couch. But the kids always called it the blue couch. So my son was pretty young, and he's almost 16 now. And I was just shaking with anger. And I was like, I was like, I want to do something. I want to say something. I want to tweet something. And I was on Twitter, and I was like, I just want to say something. And he's like, why don't you make it funny? And I was like, why don't I make it funny? And he's like, yeah, make fun of him. Like, if you're mad, like sometimes it's good to make a joke out of it. Like, it looked like he's probably 11 or something at that time. I don't even know. Like, he's, young. And I was like, make it funny. And I'm like, okay. And then I thought to myself, the Sharpie stuff had just come out. And it was all the Sharpie gate where people were drawing like Trump with next to Obama, and they were Sharpieing in that he was taller, and they Sharpied him like in the moon landing, and they Sharpied him like, doing all this historic stuff he didn't do because he was lying and did the Sharpie thing. So I was like, well, what if I troll him by saying, did you know that Donald Trump circumnavigated the globe solo? He was the first person in history to ever do that. I said, what are some other little known facts about Donald Trump? And George Conway picked it up, and it was called either Lost Trump History or Trump Lost History. I think it was called Lost Trump. It was hashtag Lost Trump History. And George picked it up. He loved it. And he was like, yeah, let's do this. And George back then, everything he touched went viral. So the damn thing trended #1 for an entire day. And it was in
my
People
God.
magazine, the Washington Post, I think like the New York Times, USA Today. This thing went so super viral. And I was having such a blast because people were having a field day with it. They were like, yeah, did you know? And they were using some of the Sharpie pictures. Like, did you know that he stormed, the beaches in Normandy? And it's like,
I remember this now. It's like, yes, it was like an iconic Twitter moment.
It was, when Twitter's on, you guys know, when Twitter's on.
Oh, I miss
There's
Twitter.
nothing like
I
it.
miss old Twitter. Yeah. There's nothing really like it. I agree.
There's nothing like it.
Fast. It's in your face. It's funny. Everybody's in on the same joke. Like, it's the best. And that was that moment.
It's just unhinged and fun and free. Well, I mean, that's kind of crazy to have gone viral on like one of your first tweets, but do you have like an all-time viral tweet that just triggered MAGA so bad because they always hate to see you coming? So, I mean, going viral your first time is quite a big accomplishment, and you do this like on the daily, but was there one that just went mental?
It's my pin tweet because I'm so proud of how triggered they were by this. They are still triggered by this to this day. They still respond to it. So this was June 23rd, 2022. And there was a shooting. Maybe that was Uvalde. Honestly, it could have been. Was that 2022?
Yeah, it was.
I think that was Uvalde.
I think it was.
And I was so, it must have also been, or maybe it was after Roe. It might have been right after Roe fell. Because
22.
Was that Roe?
I think it was that was the Roe overturning.
Okay.
So many bad things have happened. They all just meshed together now.
You know what I think it was? I think that was the day. I think that was the day that it leaked, maybe. Either way.
It was a leak.
It was either that. Yeah, I think it was actually affiliated with Roe, but there had been a shooting. There was always a shooting. And I just tweeted, maybe someday women in America will have as many rights as guns do. And they were like, guns can't do this and guns can't do that and guns can't blah, 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 and guns don't have a vagina. And I was like, you're not getting it. Like, you're just not
they don't
getting it.
That tweet has, I don't know why I never liked it, but I just did. And my 441K, 100,000 retweets, 88,000 comments. We're going to put it up on the screen.
Gosh.
Wow.
That went nuts. That thing went nuts. And they still get triggered by it. And it's there. It's pinned on all my stuff because I know it pisses them off. And this is the same fucking cult that'll be like, but what is a woman, Joe? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, fuck off.
And honestly, that brings us to what's going on today with the Democrats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I really think that what resonated with people from your tweet is now coming from our blue state governors, like Governor Newsom, Governor Pritzker, Governor Moore. I think that they are finding their voices at a time where they're really relating to people and striking a nerve and just calling stuff out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the big part that they're speaking in our language to us, the way that we communicate to each other, right? So for the first time, we're kind of seeing politicians and CEOs and lots of different types of people kind of like stripping away the professional language and talking to the public the way that we communicate to each other. And with Newsom, it's just so effective. And he's essentially just taking what Trump is doing and regurgitating it in his own way, but it's brilliant. And what's kind of crazy is they don't know that he's holding up a mirror.
Right.
Like if you're watching Fox News, they're like, this is so unprofessional. And it's like, yes, like that's exactly the point about it. And so we're just super excited to see our Democratic leaders joining the ranks of us on the social media platforms and getting in the mud with us.
It's been a breath of fresh air. It's been exactly what we needed. And like to your point, Vanessa, about they don't realize it's a mirror. They really do suffer from a delusional lack of self-awareness in terms of the kinds of things that they've not only normalized, but they have celebrated. I mean, these ridiculous all caps tweets that are just verbal diarrhea and they're nonsensical and it's threatening, but it's like insane, and they've gotten so used to it. They're like, oh, Donald Trump just tweeted that CBS and NBC are gonna have their licenses revoked. It's like, that's insane. Like,
That's insane.
right. He's making fun of people in these tweets, and that's what some of the things that Newsom's also his office has also been doing adeptly, is mocking them, holding up a mirror to them and mocking them at the same time, and they can't handle that. If they have an Achilles heel, I mean, they're so fucking snowflakey, but like, it's that they don't like being mocked. They don't know how to handle it. They don't, because they are thinner skinned than anyone. And it's been very refreshing to see Newsom, like you said, Moore, Pritzker. It's been very refreshing and exciting and uplifting and inspiring to see them finally, not them finally, but to see our party and the leaders in our party finally standing up and meeting this moment with the same kind of intensity that has been coming from the right. And they're not saying, I think, or I might, or maybe. It's I am, I will. It's like these super declarative, like, this is my fucking state, dude. And like, you
stay away.
Right. And you've already marched our troops all over California, all over DC now. And now you're saying you're going to Chicago and you're going to Boston and have fun and trying to go all over New York, you freaking idiot.
Good luck in New York City. That's all I'm saying.
Chicago's ready. Chicago's already making videos. I think everybody's going to be ready for these guys coming in. It's just the audacity of thinking that they can.
Yeah.
They like to make us feel like that's not true, right? So I kept always saying there's more of us than them. Then the election came and I was like, wait, was I wrong? But I really think I'm back to saying there's more of us than them. Look at the White House TikTok for 24 hours when their bots weren't ready. That is a true, I think, cross-section of how most Americans feel, the way they were commenting on that TikTok.
Yeah. And I tell you what else it does as well, is a lot of those people who either didn't engage in 24, checked out in 24, have same, both sides, like, said that it's the lesser of two evils, or that everybody's the same kind of shit, that they now are looking around and going, hold on, this shit's crazy. And these folks, hold on, like, that's kind of cool what they're doing. And they are speaking up, and they are speaking in plain language, and they are, kind of getting in the mud. And I like that, because what people have said is your party is just getting, shellacked, and they're rolling over for this shit. I mean, how many more memos and like I speeches, and like, how many more buildings are you going to show up in front of, with this cadre of people who are very upset, finger wagging? Like, we've got a lot of good people in our party, but a lot of, in particular, congressional Democrats, no offense to any of them, but they just seem to be saying, like, we can't do anything, our hands are tied. Right. But like, let's all band together and stand here and say that out loud. And it's like, well, the blue state governors are like, fuck that. This is my state. We still have autonomy. This is still about the people. I'm going to call them out on their bullshit. And I'm super stoked, because we've seen blue state governors make mistakes, and I'm going to reference one, and I get shit for this all the time. But Big Gretch, when Big Gretch did what she thought she had to do, and we can debate that all day long, when she hugged him and when she went to the White House. And as he referenced today, she was so respectful and so nice, because the people of her state, one of the states in the United States that he is supposedly president of, needed stuff. She went there on a pilgrimage to do the bend the knee, kiss the ring shit, and she got what she wanted. But what was the cost of that? Because when he quoted it today, when he talked about it today, he quoted that, or referenced that, in conjunction with him saying that Pritzker will not be getting the same kind of assistance for Illinois unless he does what she did.
Right.
I'd be willing to bet that Gavin Newsom would want to give aid to any states that need help, being as we send aid to all the states to help. And so I know that some of our leaders do listen in and watch our content. And I'm going to say, you know what? Why don't we just band together and help each other? If the president isn't going to help us, why don't we help each other? Because that's what it's going to come down to later anyways.
Yeah,
I'm saying it.
No, I think it's a great idea. And then we win the midterms, then we win the presidency, and this nightmare will be over. But until then, I think that's a great idea. Help each other out.
Why not?
Like, look at New York's economy, California's economy, New Jersey's economy. Like, we can hook each other up.
And it's interesting too that you say that, guys, because what happened with Texas is really interesting to me, because Olivia Giuliana was on one of the Siren podcasts and she was talking to Governor Newsom, and she was like, it means a lot to me because this is my reality down here in Texas. Like, I have to live this fucked up dystopian reality down here. And to know that a governor from a big, powerful state that is not mine, that is California, gives enough of a shit about what's happening in my state that he's like, hell no. I'm going to do what I have to do to make sure that what just happened in your state and what happened to your people, to your voters, to your constituents doesn't happen not only to the people of California, but to the people of every state in this country. And for somebody living like our friend Jess Piper, she lives in an extremely red state. And she's like, y'all, we are living the reality they would like for this whole country. And they feel long ignored in red states. And that's a mistake that we've made, and that is not necessarily being made right now by people like Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, Kathy Hochul, Wes Moore, etc.
Yeah. And I was lucky enough to see a town hall in New Orleans with Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah.
It was really interesting for me to be in Louisiana as a New Yorker.
Yeah.
It was eye-opening, and sitting in a room with people from New Orleans, listening to Beto O'Rourke speak about do not count out the South. And I spoke to other people at that town hall from New Orleans, from the Louisiana area, and they do feel like people just forgot about them and counted them out. And there was just this palpable excitement in the room that Beto was voicing that for them, for, live streaming it for everyone to see. And I talked to some Louisiana Democrats and they were just elated that people are highlighting this. And they said, don't count us out. Like, we benefit from Democratic legislators.
Yeah.
So don't ignore us.
And so many of them in so many states, including Texas, even before this 5-seat power grab, they were gerrymandered out of having a voice. Their maps were rigged to such an extent that a state that is truly purple, if not turning blue, that is Texas. There are other states like that, Georgia for one, right? But Texas has a lot of Democrats and a lot of independents, and their maps, even worse now, their maps were gerrymandered so badly that they have a stranglehold on power in that state, as we've now seen what they just did by redrawing these maps, mid-decade, which is just insanity and blatant cheating. And what happens, I think, there's two options. Like when you take people's autonomy away, when you take their voices away, one of two things can happen. They can either be like, well, it's over. I quit. I'm rolling up. I'm closing up shop. I don't have a say. I'm just, whatever comes. I'm going to try and write it out the best that I can. Or they're like, hold on a minute. This is up, and this is bullshit. And I got kids. I've got grandkids. I don't want this. I don't care about your politics. I believe in democracy. And how dare you tell me that you are going to force me to accept what you're choosing for me? And I think that when we have leaders who can articulate that, and like Beto, like Gavin, like Wes Moore, like John Ossoff, like Chris Murphy and others, like Bernie and AOC, I think that that's the beginning of a movement. And I think that is the moment that we're in right now.
What advice would you give to people that are maybe sitting on the sidelines right now, that are ready to jump into the fight online? What would you say to, let's just say, the girls out there who are thinking about getting started? What advice would you give them?
If not now, when? And if not, to who? Right? Like I'll just real quick. I was a mom in the suburbs. My kids were 7 and 11 years old in the 2016 election, and I didn't even know what Twitter was. I kind of thought it was Kim Kardashian going onto some kind of platform and talking about bowel movements. I honest to God didn't know.
Yeah.
My Facebook was full of people who voted for Trump because my district has voted for him 3 times. And so I was like, I felt so isolated and alone. And I was like, well, let me try this Twitter thing. And I didn't even know I had a voice yet. I just wanted to tell Trump he had old balls. And I did tell him that. And my first 2 tweets were that. And I'm sorry you have to see yourself naked. And nobody saw it. And it got no likes, no impressions. And I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care. And then I saw these accounts out there like the Valdo Mermaid, who who I think has blocked me at this point. I don't know. She didn't like me, but she's also Jersey.
I
And Molly
remember
Johnson.
her.
Yeah, she's
Oh, Murphy,
still
what happened
around.
to her?
That.
What
She's still
happened to
around.
her?
She's
Oh.
still around. She still has her moments, and
Good.
she's still around. And I was like, wait a minute. They're saying things that resonate with me. And I'm like, I took me a year to figure out how to enter a second line of text in a tweet. A year. I just thought it was just one paragraph. And then I discovered that, oh God, you can do breaks. I was really an idiot. And then for a while, all of my tweets were like one line of text. Cause I was like, that's right. You just hit enter and you get a whole nother line. That's right. That's right.
I told you.
Yeah, and I was only a reply guy. By the way, I would say my best advice to anybody who's out there like, I am just fill in the blank. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't know necessarily your voice out there in that world, just get into the replies. Like, go find, like, I was trolling the fuck out of Trump, out of Ted Cruz, out of Lindsey Graham, and I was a reply guy for almost like 2 years. And that was how I built the following, because people were like, wait, hold on, who is this?
She's here again.
She said something I wanted to say. And honestly, and I remember feeling imposter syndrome where I felt like afraid, like, what am I going to tweet? Like, does anybody care what I have to say? And then one day I was like, fuck it. I have something to say. And that's my advice too, is that if you have something to say, say it. Say it in your voice. Always stay true to yourself. Say it in a genuine way. Say it how you would say it to anybody's face, and then put it out there. And you never know. Like, I never knew that somebody else came up behind me and was like, oh shit. Like, Sarah, you said that thing about, oh shit, she's from Jersey. Like, for me, Kara Setmayer, she's a former Republican.
Oh, yeah.
She was out there fucking throat punching on every goddamn panel on TV. And I was like, holy shit, if she can do that, I can do that. And that's my advice for everybody. Like, your voice matters. Your feelings matter. You have a presence. You have a say. And you never know. You just never know. And you should always speak your truth. And somebody out there might be waiting for someone just like you. And someone like you doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. There's only one of you. And maybe that's the right person, or for one person, for 5, for 10, for 1 million, who knows? But just say it. And it gives you a little piece of your power back in a world that can feel like all it wants to do is strip you of all of that. And it fills your cup and makes you feel heard and seen. And those are the most empowering antidotes to what Trump is doing right now that there are in the world. And it makes you feel less alone. And these communities that we're building, whether it's the Siren or whether it's just these communities of friendships, when we hang out in places like Chicago and DC, and we go to drinks in the wrong place at the wrong time, and we look like a bunch of assholes, which is an inside joke. You guys understand? It builds community.
We did that. We did that.
Guilty. Did we do that? I think we did
That
that.
happened in DC one night.
That.
And you know what? I learned a lot about our personalities. I was like, whatever. Joel was like, I already knew this already.
And we have to go.
And Joe was like, wait, what? And like, didn't even phase her. And Vanessa the whole time was like, we gotta go. We gotta go.
We have to go.
And that's all of our personalities. Like, I was like, whatever.
To get a drink. I was like, wait, what?
And I think Joe was the one who was like, you guys, they said we need to leave.
But I have to say, we ended up in the best hotel lobby, bar, lounge, singer area that evening.
perfect.
And the company was impeccable. And now, how full circle are we? I mean, okay, let's just paint the picture for them. The last time we were all together with another member of the Siren, Joel, we were in Washington, D.C., watching President Biden speak at the 30th anniversary of the Violence Against Women Act. And we all met that night. And here we are almost a year later, because that was in October. And we are way worse off politically.
Yeah,
However, we have all connected so much more. And now we're super excited to be a part of the Siren.
Siren.
Yeah.
What a symbol that is, right? Because that legislation, it's very deeply impactful and important for all of us for different reasons. And there's a viral photo of us for all the wrong reasons crying, where they troll me and they're like, this is what she really looks like. Yeah. Oh, I'm the ugliest cry face on the planet, friends, by the way.
Yeah. Like anyone looks amazing.
Right.
Crying.
But it was a very emotional event. It was a very, very emotional event. And away from that, with everything that we're up against and facing right now in this war on women that is ongoing and increasing and in picking up speed, that our answer to that was to empower each other and to create something together that is driven by voices they very much want to silence. And they would very much like to take back to a time where there is no Violence Against Women Act, where there are no protections for us, where there is no accountability for abusers. And look, that's what they celebrate. That's what they reward with power, from Trump to Hegseth to Elon. This is the crisis that we're facing, and that we decided together as sisters from different misters to not roll up into a ball in a corner and say, I can't, I won't. Instead, to say, I can and I will. That honestly gives me so much motivation every single day, and so much fuel and so much pride, because I'm the mother of a daughter and the mother of a son. But when I look at my daughter, and I can honestly say that I was joined by other strong women out there who said, no, I'm not going to accept this, and you're not going to impose this reality on me, not for me, not for my daughter, not for my daughter's daughters, not for all the women and girls out there, men and boys. And so it is honestly one of the proudest things that I feel like I've ever been a part of, is to look at your faces, people like you, voices like yours, and hopefully help others feel seen by what you do, what you say, and feel empowered by it, and to know that they too should stand up and speak out and own their truth, and if they have something to say, that they should say it.
I think we're inspiring people already, and we're not even a month old. And so many people, when we launched, messaged me. I was at a conference, came up to me and said, "Oh my God, I'm so excited about the siren." And I think the energy behind it was just really inspiring to people. And we're just getting started. Follow us, follow the siren on Substack. We have a killer Instagram page
Oh.
with incredible news from Sam. He's on top of it.
Yeah.
I messaged him like, "Where's the Pritzker speech?" I'm sure it's already up.
Yes, please do that. That's awesome. That's so helpful.
Yeah.
Because Sam
Yeah, I
is
was
the
like,
one-man wrecking ball like machine,
yeah,
but
I know.
he can only, and I love that you
He's
do
quick
that.
though. He
Yeah.
is on top of
Yeah.
it. So anyway, this was just so incredible. I feel like our podcast is called Politoxic,
I
but
love it.
we weren't really toxic today. I think this is just like a sign of
It
when women.
felt very like much a hug. It felt like a
I
hug
know, a big
today.
hug. Like usually we're like roaring against things, but I think it's just the community that we're creating through the siren, through our sisterhood, and with everyone who's joined our community, our growing community. I think we're a force to be reckoned with, and I think it's a sign of the tide turning.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. The tide is turning. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
We call you the queen of the resistance, and that's not a hyperbole.
God.
You are.
It's because I'm old. It's really just because I'm old.
No, well, I think we're the same, babe. I think we're the same age. Just saying.
It was funny because somebody came up to me at the DNC, and it was a young creator, and they had been out the night
Yeah.
before drinking, and they were like, Joe, can I ask you a question? If I went out drinking last night and I don't really want to drink tonight because I got really hungover, what do I do? And I was like, oh my God, you think I'm your
no.
mom? Like,
I
okay.
know,
You know,
I know.
like, I'm not, am
I
I
know.
not, like, I used to be like the cute one, like the guys would be like, and now I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, and now I'm like the
Well,
mom.
we were taking
We have the
selfies with them. I was like,
experience.
y'all, too close. They were like, so close.
Right.
Like, babes,
Right.
like, I'm not
Since-
22. Yeah.
Sincerely, though, I think it's our age range that is what makes it possible for us to do this stuff, right? Because 20-year-old me would never have been brave enough or confident enough to like get out and say this stuff. So I think that like our maturity is of what makes it possible for us to do this work is because we've grown that thick skin over time. We've been through the shit in our personal lives and professional lives, and we've done all the things. And so when incels say horrible things to us, like it's okay. And so we're here for the younger girls. If you guys need advice, we're here. Your bigger
I know.
sisters are here. We're here to protect
We're
you.
here. We're here to
Listen,
say,
yeah.
the first cut is the deepest. The first Nazi attack on me, I knew that was nothing could be worse from that. And the only way is up. So just keep fighting.
Oh my God, 1,000 trillion bazillion %. And Never, ever, ever let anybody ever tell you what you're worth or who you are. Don't let anybody define that for you. You know who you are. You know your own power. You know what you're capable of. And you should own that every second of every day. And when they try to tell you that you're fat or that you're stupid or that you're ugly or that nobody gives a shit about what you say, and they punch themselves and each other in little teeny tiny micro peens to be the first one to tell you, they don't give a fuck what you have to say. Just do your nails. Just do your
Yeah.
nails. Flip your
Can we
hair.
trademark that? Can we get a trademark on that statement,
Let's
please?
get trademark. Yeah. Yeah, let's trademark.
Yeah.
No one steal that.
Fuck off. So
Well, thank you so
Thanks.
much, Joe. This was so incredible. You are our first guest ever.
yeah,
You're the
that's such an
first
honor.
Politoxic podcast guest. We were talking to Sam and we were like, do you think Joe would do it? He's like, absolutely, ask
Yeah.
her. We were like nervous to ask you as
What?
our
No,
first
we're
guest.
friends. Are you shitting me?
This is
Like, we've
perfect.
been
I
drunk
know, but we were
together.
like, it feels different when you're like, can you be on our podcast?
God, well, no, we are like, thank you. And thank you. I feel very honored to be your first guest. But like, honestly, I don't think of this as an interview, or it's just us shooting the shit as friends in a really fucked up time. And we've been through some shit, all of us independently, individually as human beings, and through this whole election. So we're sisters in arms. And yeah, I'm just grateful to know that we are connected in this way and in so many others.
Me too. And I hope this podcast triggers every single one of our trolls.
I don't like it. None of that could
Go
be
get
like
it.
further
Go
from
get your cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, what really triggers them is when we talk about right? They're like, there's
Yeah.
no hot liberal women. There's no blonde liberal women. It's like,
Yeah.
bitch,
Bye.
off. Yeah, right? Yeah,
Right?
exactly. That's what triggers them. That's it.
No.
At the end of the day, what this comes down to is that so many of them were inherently small in the pants losers, like Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon. Steven sleeps in a coffin lined with ICE detention center blankets, Miller, and Donald fucking Cankles fucking grayscale taco
Yeah.
tits. None of them
Little-
could get
yeah.
laid. So all of this is some retribution for the fact that like chicks just
Agreed.
wouldn't bang them.
We don't want them.
Agree.
And
they're
they
still
can rail.
still in our DMs, and they're
All
still in
day.
our
Still in our
comment
D-
sections, and
All day.
they're still wanting us, but we
Hi.
will defeat
Yeah, hi.
incelism one podcast at a time. Okay.
We
Yep.
will. We
One-
will.
we
And
will.
hopefully this one adds to it.
Let's go.
That's
So
right.
thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
guys.
And thank you so much. And stay tuned. We are live post every Tuesday. And stay tuned for all the toxic topics of the week. Of all the weeks. Okay, whatever. I stopped.